All right. You're going to learn today. Freddie Bias here, your favorite lender, VA Geek, coming at you with another episode for the Mythbuster series. All right. And what we're going to cover today is something that my realtors out there are going to truly appreciate, because at the end of the day, this can make or break helping that veteran get into his home. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about appraisals. I know you guys probably don't like that very much, but the truth is that there's a myth out there saying that VA appraisals are harder than FHA or conventional appraisals, and that's actually completely false. Reason being is, in your FHA world or your conventional world, you can't really have any influence in any way, shape, or form. You can't even give them a call. You can't do anything. All right. Now on this side, when it comes to the VA world, well, in the VA world, you have some options. All right. So in this scenario, let's talk about someone that is under contract for $160,000 and the appraisal just happened. Well, in the VA world, the appraisal doesn't necessarily just come back and say, hey, here's the value. It is what it is. What happens is the appraiser himself lets us, the lender, know, hey, we're going to have an issue on value. Now, when there is an issue on value, the appraiser has to initiate something called the Tidewater Alert. Now, this is something here that I don't think you guys hear much about. Now, when the Tidewater Alert is triggered, you as the agent has 48 hours to turn in comps. All right. Now, you got to gather 3, 4, 5 comps, as many comps as you can. You can't really. It's going to have 3. The 3 is going to be the main number for you. Once you have put everything out there, you want to get the 3 that have the best value, that are around the property, and obviously something that can justify the price that you went under contract. Now, once you submit those over, 3 things can happen. He can go ahead and say, hey, listen, yeah, it supports it, or it doesn't support the change. Or if you don't respond in the 48 hours, guess what? He's going to move on to phase 3. Phase 3, he issues a value. At the end of the day, I receive the value that he originally had, that he warned us about, or the new value, which might be attached to the same exact price in the sales contract. Now, for the sake of this hypothetical, let's say that the value comes in and it's still short. All right. Now, what happens at that point is, all right, so now the value is not only attached to the property, but it's also attached to the social security of the veteran. All right. Now, the SAR, which is the staff appraisal reviewer, is the one entering this. All right. Now, I want you to understand, the lender has a SAR, which is the appraisal reviewer, and the VA also has the SAR, which is their staff appraisal reviewer. Now, what our SAR is, it's an underwriter that also does the VA portion of it. I want you to understand that not every underwriter is a SAR. All right. This is handled by a SAR, which can communicate with the VA SAR themselves. All right. So in this situation, man, it came up short. We have an appraisal that came in at 140 instead of the 160. What can we do? Well, you can go ahead and have the veteran request in writing or reconsideration of value, an ROV. Okay. Now, that can be done by email. That would go ahead and make my SAR here as a lender communicate with the SAR at the VA and say, hey, listen, this veteran wants you to reconsider what this appraisal is. In that situation, then we're going to go ahead and have the SAR look at the overall picture, and he has a 15% swing authority on this specific appraisal. Now, Mr. Realtor and Mrs. Realtor, I need you to understand that it's very important that you're communicating with the selling agent at this point and letting them know, hey, listen, at the end of the day, we're going to have the VA see if there's going to be a swing. So generally, you're going to want the seller to agree to where that swing can land before they make their final decision. What happens a lot of the times is that the VA SAR speaks to the lender SAR and says, hey, listen, is the seller putting skin in the game to try to get this deal done? If so, then they say, you know what? The seller's willing to move on their number. Our buyer's willing to move on their number. Our buyer is a veteran and he needs us to help him. So we're going to go ahead and adjust this appraisal, and we're going to go ahead and get the deal done. All right. So That's awesome. All of a sudden, you now have the value that you need so that we can move forward with the loan and helping that veteran out. Now, one last thing that I want to mention. VA appraisals done by appraisers are actually tracked differently than the FHA and conventional. There's actually a scorecard system that's in place that's basically grading the way that they're treating that appraisal. So understand that those appraisers have that in mind, and they want to make sure that they don't get an F screwing you out of your deal. All right, so you guys have a great one. I hope that this myth is now busted in your eyes. If you have any questions or concerns, give me a call. This is Freddie Baez, your favorite lender. VA Geek out. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in. This public service announcement is brought to you by Freddie Baez Calderon, your local expert for all your mortgage needs. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Freddie and his team. Be, do, have.